Welcome to Contextual Electronics. My name is Chris Gamble. Today we're going to be going over how to create a Git repository to track your files in KiCad. Now KiCad has the great advantage of being an ASCII format, so if you actually open up I think any of the files in KiCad, they're human readable, so you can actually go and see them. We've shown this a little bit in past videos where we go in and hack the files, but really just modify them if there's something that we can't quite do in the either the layout program or the library. I wouldn't recommend it on a regular basis, but it can be really useful for that stuff. Today we're going to show you how to actually go and create a new repository and create some files in that and get started. Now Git is it's a revision control system. We are going to use the command line. You can use the graphical stuff. I do not recommend it. I think learning some of the commands is the best way to go forward. And I know it's a little confusing at first. It took me a long time to get my head wrapped around it, but hopefully this is simple enough that we'll see how to do it. Okay, so first things first, I use GitHub. Some people don't like it. That's okay, but I've been using it and I'm going to keep using it here. You can use GitLab, GitHub, Bitbucket. There's a ton of services out there with a host stuff. So I'm going to go and do the first thing is create a new repository. Now you also don't have to do it from the web. You could just create it somewhere else. But I'm gonna create one here. I'm going to call it CE Git testing, and we'll use this as our stuff here. And then we'll make this public, and we're going to initialize it. And then another nice thing is that there's actually git ignore. And what this is basically saying, if there's certain files that we're going to put into here, then ignore some of them. So like in the case of KiCad, it's like the .backup files, the like basically the autosave files that you don't want to necessarily see. So we'll just type in KiCad here, and we can choose this file, and we're going to create the repository. I was going to try and hide my thing here. I don't know what's going on there. There we go. Okay, so I do have a new show my work in the upper right here. Okay, so we have this this repository here, and now this is basically it's just started, right? It's got a README file. That's what's actually generating this down here. We can go and edit that and upload it. We have the git ignore in here. If you want to see, these are all the files that it's actually ignoring. So .back, .bck, PCB, back, whatever. So all these things are going to be ignored if we go and upload an entire directory's worth of files. Okay, so first thing we want to do is we want to grab the clone with SSH. You can also use HTTPS. I do recommend SSH. There's a lot of tutorials out there to go on how to get an SSH key, so that might be something you have to do. I'm already logged in with an account and I have an SSH key created. If you don't have that, you will not see this option, so that's important to know here. So I'm going to copy this. I'm not going to do these two things. You could say open in desktop. That's going to open the actual desktop GitHub thing. I don't like that. And then download zip. I don't want to do that either. So what we're really doing here, we're going to go and open up the Git bash terminal, right? And so now this just looks like a terminal, right? So we're going to say cd, I have PCB's directory. PCB? No, it's PCBs, right? I think that's right, yeah, okay. And switch into that directory. These are all the ones that are in here. We're going to go into course. And okay, so now this is actually where we're going to put this new directory here. So I'm going to say Git Clone, and then Shift Insert, and that actually puts in that thing that was copied to our keyboard here. Hit Enter. Okay, and now basically it's basically copied all the files that are here onto my local machine. And the idea here is that we're going to go, and let's see where it is here. So Git testing. So there it is. You see git ignore, readme. These are the two files that are there. And then this hidden folder here, you don't necessarily see this. This is only if you have a hidden folder shown. But this is actually where it keeps all the history of the things that we do in here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up KiCad. Okay. Let's go and say, we're going to say new directory here. We're going to say project. And then I'm going to show you. Let's see, there we go. We'll go up a folder here or so. Course, see Git testing. Now we're gonna create a folder in here. I'm gonna call it. So what I usually do is I usually create like a firmware folder and a hardware folder. So I'm gonna first call it what we call this thing here. So I'm gonna say Git testing. Let's do underscore. Okay, so now you see everything on the left here is created as git testing.pro, git testing.kicadpcb, git testing.sch, which is the schematic file. let's go back to our directory here. Now you see it automatically creates a directory below it. So what we'll do is we'll just grab all this stuff. You don't have to do it like this, but I'm going to grab all this stuff, move it to the top level, and then just delete this directory. Now what that means is that KiCad's going to be like, wait, where'd everything go? So we're going to go back and open up the project, and it'll just be opening up one level above it. There we go. Okay, and we're back here. Directory not writable. That's not right. Let's see if we can change anything in here. So this should just be, let's see if we can add a first resistor in here. So what we've got is our schematic. I hit A to open up a library, loading up all my libraries, type R, drop a resistor, hit save, and it looks like it is savable. So we'll close it, we'll open it back up, see if it's still there. It looks like it is still there. So yeah, so that message, I'm not sure what that message was. So we've saved our first resistor in here. Okay, great. So we now have a bunch of new files in here. You see we even have a cache library because that stuff's been added in there. So what we're going to do is now, this is going to be our first thing. We're going to add all of these. Let's see what's actually in here. So Git Status. These are, we have to actually, switch into the directory. So this is the cd ce git testing. There we go. Let's see what all the files are in here. So we see all the same files that we see in our folder here. Let's make these side by side. And actually, I'm going to make my text a little bit bigger here. It's text, select. There we go. A little bit easier to see, hopefully. There we go. Okay, so there's all of our folders and files and stuff. Now what we're going to do is say git status. And what this does is it basically says, okay, what's new in here? Now what we see is that the cache lib is not included. It says, okay, I see these new 3 files in here. So what we want to do is we want to say, and let me move this up as well because you're not going to be able to see that otherwise. So we want to say add all of those files to this report that we're going to make about, it's called a commit, but basically it's like reporting what's different here. So we're going to add all these files, -- all. Okay, now we can say git status. And what it says is, okay, now it's in green, and it says, yeah, these are new files, but we're actually going to be committing these changes. So now what we've done, we said, okay, all of these files are new. We want to include them in this change report that we're making here. We're going to say git commit. We're going to add a message to it. We're going to say added KiCad files with 1 resistor. Okay, again, we hit git status. Shows what we've done. Now it says, okay, there's no new files because we've already made that commit here. So now, but we are ahead of the things that are online. This is the one in the background here. That's what's online. So now we're one commit ahead of there. So we need to push those changes up to the online version. So we say just git push. Now it says, I'm going to sync those 2 things together. We've synced those things together, and now we have a new hash of all of the changes that we made here. If we go and reload online, we should now see there's a bunch of files, and anything that's only the things that have changed now are actually labeled with that commit name here. Again, if we go and just change 1 file, so let's add a second resistor. Where did my directory go? Did I lose KiCad? Oh, I guess I closed KiCad. Okay. So we're just going to change just the schematic again. We'll say we're going to copy. There we go, drop that there, hit save. We should see now in the bash, we should see, so git status, we should only see 1 thing changed. So we only changed that schematic file, not the project file and not the layout. We'll do the same thing, git add all, git commit m added second resistor, git status. Now we see that there's no change, but we are ahead by 1 commit again. We'll git push. And now if we go back online, we should see, so now we see the schematic file has a different commit because that's been changed twice, but everything else has only been changed. These other KiCad files have only been changed once. So this is a quick look at how to get started with GitHub. I think it's a really, really good way to track your files. I really like it. It is a little bit, for people that are used to hardware, it's not, it's not going to be a normal thing because you're going to be using the command line, but I think it's a great way to get started. That's all for now. We'll have more videos here about version control and Git and making hardware. Thanks for watching.